Right then, welcome back. Today we did another Master event and we are at Daytona. Now, last time, ride 3, the banking, the physics did not work well with the banking and the bikes were an absolute pain in the backside. Now, I can't remember if I've done any races at Daytona. I might have done, I might not, I'm not sure. Well, basically, I'm going to do the Daytona event. I'm going to do the Valencia event, even though I've not done many laps at Valencia. I don't really know the track. I know where it goes from the telly, but I don't know anything else. Daytona, I've done hundreds, maybe thousands of laps at Daytona, various guises on Forza and Project Cars and other bits and bobs. So I'm quite happy where Daytona goes. We'll just blag the bikes as we go. First one, we're on the short circuit. We're on a CBR 600 RR, and it was a 5-lap race. And we finished second because we got a massive penalty, which is a common theme running through my events at the minute. So we had to go back out, muck about with the setup, struggling for rear tyre temperature. It's only 600, it's not got a load of go. And we went again. And thankfully, this one went much better. So Daytona, short or sports car course, whatever the shorter version is, CBR 600 RR. And yeah, this is quite entertaining. And we're done. And I told you a lie, because that wasn't entertaining. That was just me getting out the front, winning by 15 seconds and not really doing anything else. It was the one that I lost by 2 and a bit seconds on a penalty. That was very entertaining. That was just straightforward. So, second event, another 5-lapper. And the setup, it's a bit of an awkward place to set up because the massive long straights don't really lend themselves to a lot of tyre temperature. It's a 5-lapper. We're on the road course, that's it. That's the full one, isn't it, the road course? I'm sure it is. Yeah, we're on the road course. We're on a GSX-R 750 race modified, so an old clunker. And yeah, we'll give it a go. Well, that was a bit spicy for a couple of laps, wasn't it? That was a bit naughty indeed. But won it by not a massive amount in the end. It was alright. Yeah, bike. Not a great bike, that. The older stuff. I can't get my mind around why they would leave out things like the Ducati Multistradas and the BMW GSs and stuff like that, and leave old 1980s race bikes in. But I guess they know what people were using and what people weren't. But hey ho, it is what it is. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Next race, we're on the oval, and 5 laps of the oval. I don't really like ovals. They're a bit shitty, for the want of a better word. And we've gone. Basically, I picked the fastest naked bike that I could, which was the Brutale Serie Oro. I could have gone with a V4, but I wanted something that screamed, so I'm not going to put the full 5 laps on, don't worry. That would be absolutely mind-numbing. So, yeah, oval, Brutale, enjoy. We're done. Thankfully, that was, it was mind-numbingly boring, and the AI just absolutely nowhere near. But it is what it is. We'll just get on with it, don't we? Next one, and see, now I have a quandary because the only manufacturer that's not at level 5 is Harley-Davidson, but the bikes are terrible, and I mean they are shockingly bad. But whenever there's an opportunity to use one, I'll try and use it. So we've gone with a VR1000R, which is a 90s Harley-Davidson attempt at a world superbike, which didn't go very well. Attempt 1, and it's a time attack. Attempt 1 didn't go very well. So attempt number 2, 1 minute 40 on basically an absolute aberration of a motorcycle. So we'll see how we get on. That was tight. I know the bike's not got the greatest rating in the world, I appreciate that, but yeah, that was tight. I mean, with a 0.182 of a second penalty, we only just scraped under the bar on that one, but done is done, gold is gold. So, on to the final event, the endurance race. Now, so far, I've been quite a lot quicker than the AI riders. More than happy with that, not a problem. So all I had to do was pick a bike, ride it round, and not fall off. However, easier said than done. Now, the 2014 Yamaha R1, the endurance bike, and the race bike, even the road bike for that matter, they all want to wheelie far too much, and I haven't quite worked out. I think it's all to do with the rear preload, but I'm going to muck about with it and see what happens. But basically, it likes to wheelie, so I thought, well, there's not many slow corners on this track. There's a long straight. I'll use this bike, and we should be fine. But turns out that I was wrong, because it just does not want to drive out of corners. It just wants to wheelie, or the traction control's spinning, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go and see where we are. And this was a stressful race. I mean, off the start, there's people throwing themselves all over the place, and the AI rider has only just managed to avoid them. That's before we even got anywhere. And this, if I hadn't crashed, I would have won this by, I would have lapped everybody twice. But as it turns out, I couldn't stop crashing. So what I had to do was just keep overtaking everybody, and some of them were harsh. I mean, that was harsh. That was a harsh overtake. But the AI aren't exactly kind. Let's not beat about the bush. The AI are absolute bastards sometimes, so giving it them back, I don't mind that. The banking, the bikes don't like the banking. They seem to get to a certain speed and run out of legs, and the minute it goes flat again, they're belting off. I know very little about oval racing. I don't understand whether the speeds are curtailed because of the banking or not. It is what it is. It wasn't a particularly nice feeling through the controller. And this first corner, the AI were abysmal. So as long as you stayed out of trouble, you could overtake 2-3 bikes around the outside of that. And that bike does not want to grip from the back end. I was struggling with rear grip from start to finish on this one. It just was very difficult to set the bikes up. But 1 and a bit laps in, we've binned it once, we're back up to 5th, and yeah, it was hard graft. It was really hard graft. They were disgusting on the brakes into some corners. What the AI were doing, how they've been set up, is beyond me. But basically, towards the end of the lap, I've been it again, get off, we end up back down in 9th, then I've been it again through the little bus stop chicane type thing, we're back down in 12th. We're nearly 10 minutes in, and I'm 20 seconds behind already, and I just keep crashing, and no matter what I do, I mean, that was harsh as well, but oh well, Rubbins racing and all that, no matter what I did, I just could not string a decent load of laps together and just push my way back to the front. Yeah, I mean, a couple of laps later, we're now 16 and a bit seconds behind, but that's a fair old margin, that's the best part of half a pit stop. So I was either going to have to run long and hope that I stop crashing, or stop crashing and run the bike in full power mode. Therein lies the quandary. The full version of this, which I put up a couple of days back, I'm sorry I didn't get this out on the same day. I went out on the motorbikes for 7.5 hours and I was very, very tired. So I just thought, sod it, I need to go to sleep rather than do anything else. But yeah, it's just not a stressful watch. It was stressful reliving it, holy moly. And I was sweating by the end of this one. But start lap 7, just over 10 minutes in, and we're up to 8th. Then I ride into the barriers. What an absolute stupid thing to do. We're back down to 11th. The banking, we had more top speed for some reason. The AI weren't great on the banking neither. And slowly but surely, especially that first corner, as long as I don't crash, slowly but surely we're working our way back to the front. However, the gap was growing and growing and growing. It's up to what, 21.5 seconds now. So yeah, it was hard work. Some of the overtakes were pretty bad. The AI, you can suck them into making a mistake, go around the outside of them, and they'll put the brakes on a bit later and they'll run a bit wide, which it seems to work on a lot of places. I've been doing it on some other races as well, and just trying to like throw them a dummy or fake what I'm going to do, and it seems to work. But you've got to have a good front end, and this bike is a good front end, but it doesn't have a good back end. It doesn't like driving out of corners. But this is what it is. We're struggling for tyre temp. I mean, we're what, 60 odd % on the front tyre, 30% on the rear, with a 40% left in the tank. So the first thing we're going to do is run out of rear tyre, which isn't a great situation to be in, but we'll remedy that at the pit stop. So start of lap 9 coming up. Yeah, we've made a few spaces. A couple of people are diving into the pits, and we're in 7th. We've still got 20 seconds to the front. We are not making any ground at all. Right, towards the end of lap 9, and the AI, they don't really want to play. They don't want to let you pass, which I don't mind. I quite like it when they're a bit harsh and they're like, no, I'm going to stick to my line, and if you want to go past me, we're going to crash. I quite like that, although they are terrible out of there. So what we're up to now, 6th, still a 20-second gap. Forget where we are, the gap to the front is the most important thing. Come past the pits again, end of lap 9. We make a couple more spaces up, so the pit stop cycles have started, and there's 24 minutes left, which means that most of those riders are going to stop again. So thinking about racecraft and thinking about planning what we're doing, who am I racing against? At this moment in time, I don't know, because the pit stops haven't really leveled out. I'm not quite sure how far I am behind people, but 18 seconds now. It's coming down slowly but surely. That was a nicer overtake. That was a bit tidier. On to lap 11. We've managed to get it down to 12 seconds to the front because the pit stops are cycling through, and we're getting close on rear tyre. We're not too bad on fuel, but that's up to second. Just under 12 seconds to the front man. So as we go past the pits, you can see on the map that the lead has gone into the pit, so that means we're going to go and inherit the lead, and this hopefully should give us an idea of where we are. Now I reckon that the 4th place person, Chester Anderson, they still need to pit, so looking at that, it's the 6th. The Portuguese rider in 6th with 85% fuel left. That's who we're racing, so until that balances itself out, we won't know. So end of lap 13, a couple of laps later, decide now is the time to go into the pits. If I have got a gap to a lead rider, I need some time to make it up. I'm a sod for not leaving myself enough time, but it is what it is. We go medium front, hard rear. The front just stone cold, not getting any temperature in it. I've gone too far with the setup, and we were nearly out of rear tyre. So I'm hoping that it gives me a little bit more support from the back end to push some heat into the front tyre. We come out of the pits and we are miles behind because the pit lane's dead long. So we're 20 seconds behind the leader. They've got 65% fuel left. I think they will pit again. We don't have to. I know we can get to the end now. I could run it on full power mode. We don't have to worry about fuel. So start lap 16, we're in 5th. We've managed to get it down to 14.5 seconds, so we're chiseling away at the time, we're working away at it, and again into this turn 4, the AI crap on the brakes, so as long as you're running the right engine braking and everything else, you'll be able to make places there. End of lap 16, we make a couple of places again in the pits, and we've got it down to 13 seconds. It's just don't crash, just don't crash. The problem is as well, I've got 3.5 seconds worth of penalties. Can't get a clean race at the minute for love nor money. I'm either binning it or getting penalties by the bucket load. But never give up, remember, never ever give up. Some of the best races I've had have been absolute lost causes. Just don't give them up. Again into turn 4, nice little move around the outside. So second, 11, 0.7, 12 seconds left, and coming out of turn 1, bin it again. I'm like, no. So now we're back up to a 14 second deficit to the leader. We're back down in 3rd, trying to get past the Ducati, which is quick, which again, another bike that likes to wheelie rather than drive forward. I'm going to muck about with that rear preload and try and work it out and see what the sketch is, and see if I can't do something about it. So lap 22, 4 minutes left. The leader decided not to pit, ran out of fuel. Lovely tactic to lose a race. We have nearly 5, well, we had 4.8. We've now got 5.4 seconds worth of penalties and a 7.2 second lead. It's the last lap. I can't make a mess of it. I'm going to shut up. I'll see you at the end. it's done. It's done. Stressful race. It was quite entertaining. The full version's a decent watch. We did it by miles in the end because everyone bounced into the pits towards the end of the race, so we did it by miles. Daytona itself, quite a difficult track, quite technical. Not an easy place to learn on the fly, which is what I tried to do, but it's done, and we move onwards and we'll do something else. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave me a comment, a like, a subscribe, and fingers crossed I will see you next time. Stay safe. Peace.